Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video, back in another topic. And today is Italy's Unification Day. I don't know a huge amount about it, but I think it was when Italian cities were all divided, so they actually wanted to come together. And a part of the anthem, I think, talks about being united and that sort of thing. Anyway, as a big fan of Italian football, I thought I would talk about my dreams for Italians to be united through football, as the title suggests. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And as ever, please leave me any comments, queries, or anything else that you want to comment in the comment section. And I welcome and appreciate any of your support, any and all support. So anyway, I'll try not to waffle. And for those who have been on my channel before, this is another one of my list videos. So hope people out there enjoy it. And again, I welcome your comments. If you go through my videos and tell me which are your least favorite and your most favorite and why, and what I can improve on. And here goes. So number one, as I say, as the title suggests, and as I was talking about, I hope for Italians to be united through football, and maybe people of Italian descent. I myself am not actually of Italian descent. I'm actually of Anglo-Indian descent, but my ancestry is Irish, Scottish, French, English and Indian, as far as I know. But yeah, but I would love for people of Italian descent and Italy itself to unite behind football. Like, even if they play against each other, they are rivals when they play against each other, like Italian teams like Inter and AC Milan and Juventus and other teams like that across Italy. But hopefully when they play in like the Conference League or Nations League or Europa League or the Champions League, or even if they get to the World Club Cup, which I hope Italian teams do, and the Super Cup and things like that, hopefully they'll support each other when they're playing against non-Italian teams, foreign teams, if you like. So yeah, as a fan of Italian football, I would love for Italians to get behind each other, and like politicians and councillors and people in Italy, like businesses, to sponsor like football pitches, places, and of course places for sports, where they can so that they can help young Italians, or Italians generally, to practice, and older people to teach younger people and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's one of my dreams or goals. Number two, I hope to look into how Italy can learn from other teams and leagues, both nationally and internationally, like in football, FOOTie, whatever you call it, soccer, Calcio, or whatever you want to call it, around the world, especially the big footballing nations like England and Spain, Portugal, France, Brazil, Argentina, and countries like that. Italy actually has quite a connection, with the diaspora in Brazil and Argentina and places like that. So, but also just generally, I think it'd be great to learn, like even to learn some of the mistakes to avoid, or some of the negative things, as well as some of the positives. I'm mainly, obviously, I'm mainly talking about football because I only really support Italy for football. But anyway, so yeah, but I'll say I'd love for Italy to learn like some of the mistakes to avoid and some of the weaknesses to avoid, including from former Italian teams, like which Italian teams did well and which Italian teams didn't do so well, and reasons why teams do well or why they don't do well, and even to learn from other areas like other sports and businesses, again, both national teams and club teams, and like businesses as well, about marketing and branding and how to attract investment, for instance, into Italian football. So the club teams can buy better players, but also the national team can also develop younger players in like academies and things like that, where the younger players develop. So yeah, these are basically my dreams for Italian football, which I think I've got to mention like in the description. But yeah, number three, I think it'd be great if Italian football can attract investment, and including sponsorship and just general investment into Italian football. Maybe even be free from the sanctions, if Italy agrees to be like military neutral or whatever. Maybe they could have a political sort of leeway where they don't have to adhere to sanctions either way or take any side. So hopefully Italian football can still get investment. I'd love for Italian football somehow, I know this is probably a pipe dream most likely, if I'm honest, but I'd love for Italian football to be like the Swiss, but where Swiss are like with money or banking, Italian football could be with football. So to allow people from around the world to invest in Italian football and not have to take sides or anything, like be as neutral as possible. Although I know even the Swiss went against Russia recently. But yeah, I love it somehow, even Russia and America and China and India and the B.R.I.C.S and others, as I hope to come to, could invest in Italian football, as well as like Soveriegn Wealth Funds, banks and other businesses and investors, potential investors, could invest in Italian football and like places / spaces for sports, as I would put it. So like football academies, excuse me, parks and footballs in all possible places, as many footballs and football kits and opportunities for people to practice and play football as possible in Italy. And that sort of thing, including like for migrants as well. Like, so even charities and NGOs could help, even though Italy is like a second world country or whatever, so to speak, second world or whatever. Number 4, I'd love for, as I say, Italy to be neutral in like wars or things like Eurasian, transcontinental, Mid-Eastern and Mediterranean nations to be military neutral, so they don't get involved in wars, and also so that they avoid wars and avoid having to take sides in conflicts. But at the same time, like, people from all around the world could invest in Italian football, and like if the powers that be or the elites or whatever try to punish Italy for not actually taking sides or being involved in these wars that go on, I hope that the people, the average people, will put pressure on them to make sure that they don't get punished but actually get rewarded for being peaceful. So I know Italy's past is a bit sort of colonial, but I hope they can shake off that past and look to the future. Number 5, as I say, I love for the B.R.I.C.S, Brazil, Russia. I know there's sanctions on Russia at the moment, but I love for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa and their banks and that sort of thing to invest in Italian football. And in the case of South Africa, like that could improve relations between black people and Italians, as I've talked about before. So yeah, I know a lot of these ideas are repeats, but I thought that I would cover Italian football as it's Italy's Unification Day. And number 6, but again, as I say, investment, as much investment as possible, and looking at what Italy and Ireland have in common and how different organizations, even NGOs and charities, but also even banks and businesses, sovereign wealth funds, entire nations even could have shares in Italian football clubs, and maybe even including some of the lower league teams, not just Serie A teams, which is a top flight of Italian football. So I hope people watching this video will also find out, like, will Google or check on YouTube to find out more facts and info about Italian football as well. So I hope to encourage people to do that and find out more about Italian football, and for Italian football teams to have like, or Italian football generally to have like supporters clubs and academies all around the world in all different places, like even for indigenous people from the Americas and Australasia and around the world, including in Ireland, and also all over Europe and America and Africa and Asia and everywhere really, especially in Asia, which is the most large and populous continent, especially in China and India, and improving the fan base there, as well as the academies, which hopefully have a culture exchange where they can learn about each other's cultures, but also be mutually beneficial for those people in India and China and places like that who want to get into football, and hopefully work maybe in with U.E.F.A and FIFA and organisations like that, which is, for those who don't know, U.E.F.A runs the European football organisations and is a body for European football, and FIFA is a body for international football. So it'd be great if Italy could work with them to promote the game, especially with FIFA, promote the game all around the world, and with U.E.F.A, like, to promote it with Italy, to have academies across Europe as well. And as it's also St. Patrick's Day, I nearly forgot to say, I would love for Italy to have like a connection with Ireland as well, as they share like Italy's Unification Day with St. Patrick's Day, and look at what they have in common as well. So I'd love to talk about those sort of things in the future as well. I don't think I have enough time to cover it tonight, but I hope to talk about those sorts of things, or look into those sorts of things, or to encourage people to look into those sorts of things and things like that. Number 7, I'd love to improve the relation between Italians and Celtic through football. Again, sorry if I've repeated myself. I know I talked about that point before a few times, but again, as a fan of both Italian football and Celtic, I would love to improve the relationships between those two. As I would love to encourage also people on that note from Eurasian, transcontinental countries generally, the Mideast and the Mediterranean, also to support Celtic, as well as possibly even Italian teams, at least as a second team, or that sort of thing, or at least as one of their favourite teams. But to improve relations as much as possible. Number 8, it'd be great for Italians to fall in love with football again. And again, even if they are rivals, when they play other teams, they could support each other. And I thought of another one of my dyslexic imaginations. I think it'd be quite interesting if people, I suppose, dare I say, straight males or straight or bi males or lesbian or bi women, found Italian women attractive, and also gay or bi males or straight females, or straight or bi females found Italian guys attractive, and like that made them watch Italian football more, and hopefully that would help somehow. I don't know if it would work, but it would be great if that helped Italian football to get more exposure, for want of a better word. Although I don't know if that's the most professional, but most professional thing to say. But I know I'm not the most professional. But yeah, it would be great, I think, if people found Italians attractive and like followed the football because of that, and that somehow helped Italian teams to have more money as well, which they can invest into like youth development and stuff like that. So I hope that wasn't too unprofessional of me, or too much info. But yeah, just being honest with my imaginations and things like that. Number 9, I think it'd be great if Italians prioritised football and maybe even made it their top priority, or pretty much top priority in life, even more than making money, or even more than other such things, shall we say. Yeah, maybe football could be first, and dare I say, I don't know if I should say this word, but maybe sex could be second, or something like that in their values, and then other things could be after that. So yeah, they put football first and practice for at least an hour a day. And number 10, I think it'd be great again to develop youth and have 5-10-year plans, including football academies, because the youth are the future. So hope you enjoyed at least a few of those ideas, and again, I'd love to hear what you say, or what you think, sorry, and I'm out. Peace and love.